We will look back in 20 years and say that the seed that was planted here with the wisdom of the Board of Regents and others here in the state, what will usher forth will be profound. It will blossom in the years ahead.
It could be so important for UGA, I mean, in general, and MCG, but it's really got to be looked at it the way it was initially talked about, which was a real partnership. And I think the unknown now, which you need to put away for 50 years, is how the new president of MCG is looking at this.
President Adams and the former president of the Medical College of Georgia, President Dan Ron, met to discuss how we could increase the number of physicians in the state. At that time, we still are the 9th largest state by populace in the country. And at that point, we were ranked 37th in terms of the number of physicians per 1,000 people.
If you want doctors to stay in your community, the best way to do that is to train them in your community, so that 50% or so of residents end up going into practice in close proximity to where they trained.
I think the medical school, the biggest thing that it will add is just excitement among the medical staff, and it'll integrate with the community. But there's a real excitement right now with the medical school coming and physicians wanting to teach. And that takes some work, but it takes us back to our roots when we were medical students, and it's fun to go back to that.
My understanding is that we'll continue to follow the model of the Medical College of Georgia in Augusta, which is once the students start their clinical rotations, I believe they're assigned to a particular regional campus, and that could be throughout the state. So I don't believe our students are necessarily tied to the Athens campus for the whole 4 years.
And the biggest question is, where do all the monies come from, the funds, to do this? Because you can't be spending a lot of time teaching if you're not getting some help, some reimbursement. So I think that's going to limit the amount of teaching an individual physician can do. Although physicians love to teach, there's a certain limit on how much time you can spend. There's the practical issues too that often aren't thought about. Where do you house them? On-call rooms, a library space, feeding them, the fact of what will the hours look like because they've been cut back.
The medical students spend 2 years doing their core curriculum, which is over the medical school. Which, that doesn't mean they won't come here occasionally, and see patients for learning how to do physical examinations and interviewing skills. But when they go into their 3rd year and they start doing what we call clinical clerkships, then most of that teaching gets done by residents. So we probably will not be able to have a residency program fully going in 2 years when the students start doing that. So we'll have situations where they can be attached to one of the staff physicians, or most likely attached to the hospitalist program.
I think that it's important to get to the bottom of why people went into medicine in the first place, and to continue to nurture that through their educational process.
How do we move today to value not just the science of medicine, but also the art? And you can say that in different ways, but we think of science as the technology and all the information that has come forth, but that's sort of a head-focused thing. We've got to have the heart-focused thing too, and I think that comes in the art of medicine, where it's all about relationships, and you've done it so well.
And in the ICU, we're dealing with end-of-life issues so often, and patients that are dying. Being able to comfort the families, help the patients make the decision that's best for them, doing palliative care, those are hard things to deal with, and they're issues that have to come from the heart, because you can have all the knowledge, but can you get that knowledge across in a compassionate way? And it takes a mentor and time to learn all those techniques.
And in the past, it was not taught well in medical school. I think that that is, in fact, being addressed here in Athens, and I'm excited about that.
And I also think that, which is something that I understand does not actually occur in their educational process, teaching them how to make a living with their knowledge when they get out of school. You know, having an understanding of the fee-for-service structure and having an understanding of how to move into a credentialing process with the insurance companies. That whole process, it takes a long time to do. And you cannot make a living if you're not on the insurance plans. You cannot make a living if you don't understand the value of your services and how much each service brings into your practice.
You can be a good practicing physician, but you may not necessarily be a good teacher. At the medical school, courses and seminars will be offered. I participated in one through MCG, Dr. Albritton, to help us be better teachers, to evaluate the student better. How do we integrate them into the working morning rounds, for example, in the hospital? How do we critique them? How do we give them feedback? We need to stimulate them, they need to stimulate us. But that feedback and that give and take is very important. There's an art to that. We need, as practicing physicians, to be brought up to date on some of the better techniques, some of the better ways to engage not just the patients but the students that we're trying to teach. That's a whole area that needs to be developed, and we're not quite sure how that's going to evolve, because you need quality residents. We've got a quality institution at both St. Mary's and Athens Regional, and we're trying to sort out in our mind's eye how that's going to best fit into the program. We're not sure. We'd like to know.
That always was one of those questions that no one knew the answer, is how the hospitals in Athens would respond to having a medical school campus in Athens, which needed those hospitals, absolutely needed them, because without those strong ties, you can't educate medical students.
Yeah, it's a multifaceted picture. It's the sort of, how best to say it? I think that everyone conceptually wants it. The details have to be worked out because we're walking into uncharted territories. We are community hospitals that have not experienced an academic setting where residency programs have existed. So we have to make that leap. We want it to be quality. We know the end point, which is, if we look back 20 years from now, there will be those that have said, oh, the wisdom that was shown by those pioneers that said somehow we're going to make this happen. There's the financial bridge to have, and it's almost a chasm in today's economy, to have to jump to get to. There is finding the physician teachers that are interested, although I think that will come. And then there is the ability to attract the quality residents that are needed in this town where quality medical care is given. So it will all come together. We're not sure how it's going to happen, but I think we all have faith that it must happen for the future, and so it will.
And we're planting the seeds, and we're excited about it. But we won't be here in 20 years to see where it's going to grow, what we'll have, but I think it'll be exciting. I do. That I believe deeply.
Yeah, I concur. I think the legacy of the seeds that we plant will bear fruit in years to come in ways that aren't even imagined today. It's exciting times. It's exciting experiments that are happening here in Athens, Georgia. The nation is watching. It's going to be good.